Graham Potter has been sacked. Graham Potter has been sacked from Chelsea. And the decision was made yesterday. The decision wasn't made now. Supposedly the decision was made yesterday after the abysmal performance against Aston Villa, which we ain't even still done a match review to. We are here to go through the club statement, David Ornstein's announcements, Fabrizio Romano's, Matt Law's. We're going to go through the managers that are the potential new managers to take over for Chelsea. A one favourite that's come out of the window more than anyone else, guys. Big up to every single one of you guys that are here at the moment. Smash the like button as quickly as we can. Let's see how many likes we can get on the show as well. We are going to be discussing everything on Graham Potter's so-called legacy at Chelsea, which we'll be going through as well. On top of that, we probably will catch up on the game yesterday. We didn't get to talk about that yet as well, as it's a part of Potter leaving. Potter's gone. He hasn't even been given till Liverpool. He's not even been given until Liverpool to be here. He's done. Guys, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's cue this intro. Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV for this breaking news. Graham Potter has been sacked. He's now left the football club with immediate effect. Gone. Dusted. The owners have now came to the conclusion that the decision of sacking Thomas Tuchel and then coming into the position sorry, I was just reading the messages, getting messages as we talk. So even though I'm here, I've got messages going mad, next right and centre. So everything's going mad at the moment. To then put him forward as the manager has now backfired on them. I can't remember the last time two managers get sacked in one season. Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter. We're going on to our third manager in one season. This is absolutely crazy, people. Absolutely crazy. Big up to every single one of you guys there at the moment. Nearly over 300 people in the building already. Before we even get into all of the stuff that we've got to talk about, let's go through the chat and see what everyone's feelings are in and around this news. Big up to Alexander. Big up to Isaac. Big up to Chelsea OG. Emergency. Best day of Philly's life, apparently. It's what Afro thinks. Big up to Cali. He is ecstatic. He is excited. We've got the panel that will be joining us later on in the show as well. Big up to Michael. It was always going to happen. Nagelsmann is someone that he keeps mentioning. He thinks Nagelsmann is going to happen. Big up to Steve. He says, first Harry Potter now. Oh, allow it, man. Allow it. Seriously says, yes, finally up the Chelsea. Jack says, over the moon. Cyril says, big up, Jem. Big up to you. Man, Ashraf in the building says, let's go, Jem. Best day of his life. He's excited. He's so happy that this has happened. Big up Simon as well. Better feeling than the win versus Dortmund. Best news from a Man United fan. Remember when he said he would try and win the fucking Champions League? Oh, guys, man. Oh, guys. We've got news on Nagelsmann as well. There's so much to talk about. Julian Nagelsmann is someone that seems to be heating up as an option to take over Chelsea. We've got some breaking news on that to be sharing with you guys as well. We'll get to that shortly, but we need to break down this whole Graham Potter situation. We need to break down everything in and around this. Chris, big up to you. Super AZ as well. Andreas, Jesus, there's loads of people here. Declared's in the building as well. Guys, if you've not hit that likes, please do that. Corey's in the building as well. Who else have we got here? Robert, yes. Big up to you. Everyone seems to be very happy. It's a decision that has pleased many people, especially many people in the chat from what I can see is right now. Big up to Steve as well, who's in the building, guys. Yes, we're going to get to Fab's tweets. We've got so much to get into, guys. There's so much to break down and go through. And we ain't going anywhere. We ain't going anywhere. Do not worry. So let's get into the thick of things, shall we? Because It all starts with, before actually we even talk about Graham Potter, the big question is, who's taken over Chelsea now Potter's been sacked? Well, the interim manager is Bruno Salto, who will take charge as interim head coach at Chelsea. He will be in charge for the upcoming game, probably against Liverpool. Who knows? Who even knows how quick Chelsea are going to move in appointing a new manager? It could be soon. It could be a couple of days. I wouldn't like to guess with these owners. They're so unpredictable. But the one thing that we will have to say with the owners, and we'll get into it a bit later on, is that they've kind of had to bite the bullet and accept that they have mucked up. They mucked up. They made the wrong decision in the outset. Yeah, maybe not on the Tuchel thing. Maybe they stick to that decision. But the decision to have appointed Graham Potter out of every other manager that they could have picked at the time, they had no heads there as well, you know, to really guide them in making the right decisions as well, which is another thing. So, like, there's a lot really that, you know, that's not worked, work for them in this instance. Big up to CFC Stephen in the building as well. So there we go. There's our new interim, guys. There is our new interim for now. But let's get into the club statement in regards to the sacking of Graham Potter at Chelsea. Well, here we go, guys. It says Chelsea have announced that Graham Potter has departed. Well, 1 second, guys. Got something else coming. Oh, God. Chelsea... Chelsea FC have announced that Graham Potter has departed the club. Graham Potter has agreed to collaborate with the club to facilitate a smooth transition. In his time with the club, Graham has taken us to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We will face Real Madrid. Chelsea would like to thank Graham for all his efforts and contribution. And that's a real big, important part of this, guys, because I do not see us going into that game without having a manager. We might do. It might be that we stick with this interim, but I don't see it happening. I see us moving swiftly. I see Vivell now getting involved. You know, they have the tools now in terms of the knowledge, the experience, the guidance, which they didn't have when they made the decision to sack Thomas Tuchel. It was just them at the helm. We had no board. Now we have a board. You know, maybe that is in many ways heavily persuaded, not only on the performances as well, but also from the recruitment team, that maybe Graham Potter just isn't the right guy. So we know that Bruno Salto is going to take over for now. But it goes on to say that co-owner Todd Boehly and Eghbali, on behalf of the club, everyone at the club, we want to thank Graham Potter to the city for his contribution to Chelsea. We have the highest degree of respect for Graham Potter as a coach and as a person. He has, what's it say? There we go. Jesus, what am I doing here? Sorry, guys. He has always conducted himself with professionalism and integrity, and we are all disappointed in this outcome. Yeah, they're disappointed in this outcome because they agreed such a lengthy contract with him. The lengthy contract that they gave him, we already were being told that if we were to sack him, which we have done, it's going to cost us around 50 million. It's going to cost us around 50 million to sack the manager. Big up to Christian for the super chat. Says, hi, my friend. Super News. Christian from Brussels. Big up to Christian as well. Thank you for the donation, bro. Massively appreciate it. What is your title? Not Matt. Oh, God. It's not about that, Matty, right now. It's not about that, bro. It's why Todd should never make another decision. Well, look, they made a lot of decisions. Let's be serious. These management, these owners made a lot of decisions in terms of, you know, the ball, the current ball that was there, the way they emptied them out. You know, then they emptied Tuchel out after they backed him in the transfer window. We go on to say here, along with our incredible fans, we will all be getting behind Bruno and the team as we focus on the rest of the season. We have 10 Premier League games remaining and a Champions League quarterfinal ahead. We will put every effort and commitment into every one of those games so that we can end on a high. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that, well, because we're getting closely in the season, maybe appointing a manager now may not be the case? Maybe it's the fact that they will line him up, get him ready for the summer, and they're just going to give it to Bruno himself to try and see if he can pull us through it. It's a big thing to do. Someone that's not managed, an interim that hasn't managed at this highest order for sure. I don't know. We are still in the Champions League, guys. A buzz, a kick that you can get from a new manager coming through the door is massive. Absolutely massive. And that's why I think that they are probably trying to get something done now. They will show direct action. They will have probably spoke to the recruitment board of the with Ravel and Lawrence Stewart and whoever else, Winstanley's. They might have spoke to all of them, and they said, "Look, how do we move? We need to be aggressive. What do we do?" I think the next move is to be aggressive in getting the manager they want. You have to be very clever this time. I say very clever. They have to be a little bit more intelligent with the way that they, pass the contract on to the next manager. We can't be giving them 5-6 year contracts with a 50 million payout or a 60 million payout. It makes no sense. Cyril saying get Conte. I don't think he's the right guy. Not for what we need right now. Not for what we need right now. So, yes, he's gone. If you're not known, guys, he's out. He is out the building. Now, we move on to some of the bigger journos that have obviously come out as well. We move on to Ornstein, guys. But make sure, guys, you're smashing the likes. We've got the team to come in as well. We've got the panel coming very soon to share and talk about everything as well. We're going to be going through your comments shortly as well. Potter will receive regular severance unrelated to remaining duration of the 5-year contract since on joining Chelsea from Brighton in September 2022. Most of his staff to remain at CFC until an exhaustive process to recruit new head coach is complete. So Graham Potter's kind of stood aside, shook on it and said, look, I won't be a div about this. I have got a lengthy contract, but let's see if we can negotiate it on the most smoothest way possible. Now, I don't know whether I can get into this article because it's The Athletic and they always make you pay for everything. No, we've got into it. So we can now go into the Athletic article that talks a little bit more in and around this decision via David Ornstein. And it goes on to say right here that the club moved to end Potter's reign after just 7 months following a 2-0 defeat by Aston Villa. The 47-year-old has overseen just 4 wins this calendar year and leaves Chelsea in 11th. And that maybe is the breaking point, right? The fact that we're not even in the top part of the table. 12 points off the Champions League places. In a statement, the club said Chelsea FC has announced that Graham Potter has departed the club. Graham has agreed to collaborate with the club to facilitate a smooth transition. Oh, and then it goes and does that. Cheers, Athletic. Cheers. I was in... Let me see if I can... 2 seconds, guys. Let me see if I can take this off. No, I can't. So we can't see the rest of that because they want you to pay £1.99 a month. Well, this is breaking news, guys. We was getting into that as well. God's sake. Ornstein. So, fine. We move on to Fabrizio Romano because he will share the news that we need to share. So let's go into that. And it goes on to say that obviously he's announced as well that obviously we've got rid of him. He's been sacked. Then goes on to say that the pressure on Graham Potter after the Bulls always supported and backed him. Now, Chelsea, this is what he said originally. He also said that understood that Chelsea always appreciated Nagelsmann as a future top coach, which didn't make a lot of sense back then. It then goes on to say that the Chelsea owners, Bodie Nigbali, on behalf of the club, we want to thank Graham Potter. We have the highest degree of respect. We already know this from their perspective. We know he's taken over. We're going to get into Nagelsmann news in a second once we've covered Potter. But then it goes on also to say that pressure again on Graham Potter. Oh, no, it's the same thing he's pinned at. So is that the same thing? That is the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, so let's refresh him up. And then what I want to do is quickly go over to... Yeah, all right, cool. What I want to quickly do is go over to... let's quickly go over to Ben Jacobs because he might give us a bit more of a... Everyone's looking at Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann is someone that's heavily being touted for Chelsea. Yeah, he's giving us a bit more. So we know all this. What is it, F? This stage well, but again this morning, that was absolutely the club's plan. Things changed very fast. Potter expected to have the Liverpool game, and club even sent out his pre-match presser invite. But by early afternoon, CFC ball would move fast. So he was basically going to manage the Liverpool game. But in this short space of time, whatever happened behind closed doors, was it Vivell, whoever it was, the decision just turned very quickly and aggressively. And it got to the point where Graham Potter was getting sacked. It got to the point where nothing could help him. He also goes on to say that the decision to sack Graham Potter was moving fast, but in the end, unanimous. It was unanimous. It was in the end. It was unanimous. It was led by Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. There will not be an exhaustive search for a replacement. Nothing is imminent at this point. Graham Potter has been sacked by Chelsea, very unexpected and fast developing based on this morning. All happened very quickly as I anticipated. He'd managed it against Liverpool, but things moved quickly and Potter is now gone. Now, did he add to some of this? Because he likes to add. So let's just quickly have a look if there's any more news on some of this. No, he's not. So there we go, right? Ben Jacobs has told us that some of the Chelsea board were just had enough. They wanted him gone. And, and they made themselves very clear. We know that it's going to, we're being told again, like Nizar Kinsella's sort of repeating the same things, that it's going to be a smooth process. I'm waiting to see whether there's any, 2 seconds, guys. Yeah, we know this. We're going to get into that. All right. This is interesting, though. This is quite interesting. So, via CFC Pies, we're going to get to Matt Law next as well. Matt Law's also come out with some news as well, which we're going to get into. But via Pies on Todd Boehly, this comes from here. Todd Boehly believes Chelsea can win the UEFA Champions League, and the situation changed after he held talks with Potter today. Chelsea players are shocked. Graham Potter could join Leicester City, is what TalkSport is saying. Graham Potter could join Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers out the door, Potter in. They're not exactly moving too well themselves. Could Potter find himself in a job very quickly again? We're going to get on to the next part of it, which is Matt Law. Matt Law, which is what we're going to go into next. Matt Law's comments on this whole news. Well, we've got an article here. Maybe we can get into that article as it's the Telegraph. I'll see if we can do that. No, is the answer to that. Let's try this again. In the meantime, guys, make sure we're smashing their likes. It's over 500 people. It's going to be a bit like this today, guys. I'm going to kind of be in and out, just bringing you latest news, keeping you guys updated. We've got it literally just rolling through, keeping us going. No, I can't even get into the whole. What's going on there? I can hear myself now. The whole statement, but it kind of sends right here. Chelsea sack Potter. Stunned players find out via club statement. So the players were only made aware of via statements. They weren't even told, which makes sense because it seems like the decision was made very quickly then on after. Maybe he trained some of them, the ones that didn't play yesterday, and then walked off, and then the decision was made. I don't know, but we're being told also that, and this is where it gets a bit confusing, we're being told that the decision was also made yesterday. So there's a bit of conflicting reports in and around, in and around when it was or when the decision was made. It also goes to say that decision led by Stewart and Winstanley. Now, I do think Vivell is heavily involved in this. We're going to talk about a specific manager being a big option for Chelsea, who we're going to get into very soon. No immediate successor lined up. Chelsea do not have to pay full value of Potter's contract. Would have been about 50 million. So what does it mean by that? Chelsea do not have to pay full value of Potter's contract. So have they negotiated with Graham Potter a lower figure, which goes against the contract? Maybe that's the case. Who knows? But what I will say, guys, is we'll find out more. And, it's a big decision from the board. It's a huge decision from the board. Yeah, everyone in the chat. Big up, guys. Nearly 600 of you guys here at the moment. Respect to every single one of you guys. Do me a favor, though. Keep smashing the like button if you haven't done already. We're going to talk about... I can't get into the article, which is annoying. We're going to go into the comments from Winstanley and Lawrence next, which talks about the next manager. Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley, led by the final decision, sources say will be an exhaustive process to find the next manager. Exhaustive, meaning where we are right now, the options maybe that are available. Now, there's one that stands out massively, and we're going to get into him in a second. But let's just quickly stay on the Graham Potter topic here. Now, when we look at Graham Potter's legacy at Chelsea, you know, how good, you know, what, you know, was there any good in it? Well, I have done a video, and straight after this, guys, and if you can check it out, there's gonna be a video uploaded where we talk about the sacking of Graham Potter, a bit like we're doing now, but in a sort of a 7-minute video. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just trying to load something here. Yeah, number one. No, that's an old stat. Why? Number one, Graham Potter, on paper, has won 10 games and lost 10 games. Won 10 games and lost 10 games in the Premier League. Now, when you look at his overall record at Chelsea, well, we'll get into that. Now, he goes, and I'm pretty sure, and I might be incorrect when I say this, I'm pretty sure he is rock bottom as probably Chelsea's worst ever manager based on stats to have ever taken over Chelsea as a manager. 22 games, 7 wins, 7 draws, 8 defeats, 21 goals scored, 21 goals conceded, and games failed to score is 9. So out of them 22 games, we've failed to score in 9 of them games. Now, it's not only just about the stats, guys. Stats are a massive part of it, don't get me wrong. And he sits right bottom as one of Chelsea's worst, or the worst manager at Chelsea of his period. But it's also the eye test with Graham Potter. And I was at the game yesterday with the Aston Villa with Don, and Don will probably be on soon as well. You'll see him. Look, and I don't know if you saw my fan cam after with Alex. Everything I've been saying for a very long time with Potter was watching him and his management skills. It wasn't specifically what he does off the pitch, how he talks and how he is and whatever. It was more about seeing what he can do with the team he has, the game plan, the identity, the structure, the way that we want to play, all of these little things. And then it's man management in between games. How does he impact the game? How does he impact us in second halves? What does he say to him with the 15-minute break that takes them out, that, gets them out and fired up and they, rip teams apart? These are all the little things that we as Chelsea fans have to see, especially when you're at the, when you're one of the elite teams in football. And I watched him at West Ham. I watched him at Leicester. Right, we won at Leicester, so you're away with that one. And I watched him yesterday, and I put a tweet up, right, when we were losing 2-0 in that game, and the same stance. He puts the same stance on as he did in the other games where we drawed and lost. He looks clueless. He looks lost. He looks like he doesn't. He looks like the step that he's taken is too big for him. I don't think he was ready for it. I don't. I'm sorry. From what I've been watching, and I said on Chelsea Fans TV, I will not go to another game until he's gone. Literally said that. The next day he sat. I think that's fucking great. It's funny. But when you look at him as a manager, we regress in second halves. We regressed in second half of games when your team should be doing the opposite, right? He plays players out of position, which completely unbalances us. The system yesterday, and I'm going to use yesterday because it's the most recent game that we played, guys. The system that he set this team up yesterday in was pathetic. He decides to put Reece James as a right centre back when we know that when we play the back three, right, we need width, because when we play that system, we rely on the width. That's what then allows the front three to be more effective in games. But he doesn't. He puts Ruben there as if Reece James is injured. He puts James as a right centre-back, right? Koulibaly had a bit of a stinker, in my opinion, right? And the whole balance went, right? It didn't, right? We had chances in the first half. All right, and the output isn't there. We know we're not clinical. We know all this stuff, yeah? But the second half, we just regressed. And on top of all of that, we regressed because of his substitutions. His decisions that he makes in games does not impact us. It regressed us as a team. Absolutely shocking. It doesn't work, guys. Honestly, it did not work. And he didn't not just do this once. He'd done this number of games. And he just had no answers. He had no answers to anything. And you can't last at Chelsea. And I said this, he won't last with us playing like we are. It's just not going to happen. And the board had to bite the bullet. And when I say the board, I'm talking about Eghbali and Todd Boehly. They had to bite the bullet on making the decision to let this guy go. Eventually, you know, they held on as long as they could. But he did not help himself. You know, and some people may say, oh, well, we didn't, you know, yeah, we're going to have the same problem with some of this players, this and that. And yes, I've been one of them that's been saying the players have not performed to the levels that they need to be. But as a manager, you're meant to problem solve, man. You're meant to stick a rocket up their bums. You know, wake them up. Bottle, fight, passion. Play for the badge. They look lost. We have no game plan. We had no identity. There was too many things that did not work. And this led to the stats that we saw. This led to the downfall of us. He just couldn't last. And yesterday was the final straw. And it was for me. Because I had enough. I said I was not watching Chelsea anymore. I was not paying money to go down there, like I am losing my voice now, to see that. To see that. It was done, people. It was done. And they've made the decision. Big up to Maria for the donation. Guys, there's 650 of you here. Make sure you guys are smashing the likes, please. I know we ain't got enough likes, but I want to check the likes now. How many likes have we got, guys? Only 141 likes. Come on, guys. There's over 600 people at the moment on Chelsea Fan TV. Guys, let's get this over 200. Let's get this to 300 likes. Smash the like if you're happy for the Bulls decision now. I want to see them thumbs go up crazy. Smash the thumb if you're happy with the decision that the board have made now, guys. Please, smash the hell out of that like. Smash the hell out of the likes, guys. Smash the hell out of the likes. What's this? All right, more interesting stuff here. We'll get to that in a second. So, you know, it wasn't just only the stats. The stats are a big part of it, but it was also the eye test. And you're right, 1 or 2 games, he doesn't show anything. 3rd, 4th, and 5th game. If I'm going to games and I'm not seeing any response, anything from that manager, any answers to turning things round or getting these players to do a certain, you know, to wake up, you're not going to last. And they're not, the board, the owners couldn't just hang on with that pressure. And the decision was made. They cut ties and he's now gone. It is what it is. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Yes, guys, 218 likes. Let's keep smashing the likes. Come on, like we said, 300 likes is what we need right now. Staying on Graham Potter before we go into new manager options. And then we've got the panel. The panel will be joining us very shortly as well. Chelsea informed Graham Potter of the decision to sack him as a head coach at 2:45 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. So there you go. He was sacked on Sunday afternoon at 2:45 p.m. Done out here. Dusted. Gone. So there you go. They must have had the discussions last night about it, right? They must have. That makes a lot of sense. And obviously, there would have been pressure from the recruitment team to the owners. There would have been probably a discussion with Potter on where they stand with things. Maybe they did tell him that he's got the Liverpool game. And decisions can be made differently quickly. And maybe that decision has been made quicker because of the option available. the option available of who can come in and take over. And that goes on to the next real big thing, which we're going to talk about, which is who is it next? Who will Chelsea looking at? Well, this is the guy that seems to be standing out the most, Julian Nagelsmann. We understand there has been already approaches for Julian Nagelsmann to be the new Chelsea head coach. Talks will continue to make final decisions before he's the favourite. No confirmation on Pochettino links at this stage. Nagelsmann mentioned in internal talks yesterday. Well, why would that make sense? Well, let's think about it, right? We like the Red Bull setup, structure, idea. We're looking at it as an idea maybe for us to go down the same sort of route, right? But barring with more money, because we can still go out and be aggressive and buy players. But in terms of the longevity of what this club wants to do and the way that we want to run, it looks very clear that we want to try and run that Red Bull model. Now, with the Red Bull model, we know that Julian Nagelsmann was a success. We know that he's won trophies. Now, the big questions in and around him is, can he do it domestically? Would he be the right manager next to come in and not only get us playing well and have a game plan, because that is important, but also install the winning mentality that we need. The winning mentality that we need to go up that next step, back in the Champions League positions, and then obviously challenging for titles. Now, it makes a lot of sense when you think about who's already there. We know that Vivell is a part of our board at the moment. We know Vivell has very close relationships with Julian Nagelsmann. We've got Christopher Nkunku coming to Chelsea as well. Some people in the chat are saying Jose Mourinho. Guys in the chat, there's over nearly 700 people here right now. You guys in the chat tell me specifically who you want as next manager. Who do you want to see at Chelsea as the next managers? Because we've got a couple. We've heard Poch, we've heard Nagelsmann, we've heard Jose, we've heard Enrique. I'm not going to throw Zidane in there because we've not really heard much on Zidane. But Enrique, Poch, Nagelsmann. I mean, Jose, maybe. Put Jose in there as well. Who are we going for? I'll be really intrigued to know what you guys are saying on this. Now, we move on from, obviously, that. We stay on Nagelsmann because it goes back to, again, Fabrizio Romano, who goes on to say that Julian is the favourite candidate to replace Graham Potter as the new head coach, as reported yesterday. Nagelsmann was mentioned yesterday during internal discussions. Julian is considered as a talented coach. Talks are ongoing to make the best decision. Now, we already got told that we're not going to exhaust, which means that we're not going to go out and it's going to be a very exhaustive process, which basically means it's going to be very hard to maybe attract a big manager now. Don't get me wrong. Now, if you're Julian Nagelsmann, let's just look at him right now. You lost 3 games in your reign at Bayern Munich and you got sacked. Now, we've been told there was internal problems with him and the board. So the decision wasn't specifically only, to do with what was on the pitch and how they were playing. It was more to do with the board, right? And they made the decision to get rid of him, and they've brought in Thomas Tuchel, who is now, who is now the now the manager. Who is now, who is now the manager. If you're him, and we've been told that he was skiing at the time when he got the decision to be sacked, you're probably quite shocked. Now, as young as he is, would he be looking for a job, imminent straight away? Maybe. He's got links to Christopher Vivell. He might like the structure of what Chelsea are doing and what we present to him because it kind of fits the Red Bull model. Is he the perfect manager moving forward? I think there's still massive question marks. I'll be honest with you guys. He's not one that we can scream and go, yeah, look at his CV, yeah. No. He's got an identity. He's got a style of play. He's got a game plan. Will it work? Will he just need time? Yes. Will we have to get the length of the contract correct? Yes. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, a lot of you guys in the chat were saying Enrique, Nagelsmann's the man. Nagelsmann, Jose Mourinho, Pellegrini. Enrique flicked Nagelsmann a third time round with the special one with the new setup, is what Jake's saying. Brendan Rodgers in. Very funny. Very funny, Guna. Jose Mourinho, Nagelsmann, Sergio Conceição is what we got here. Zidane is the most exciting appointment. Mourinho, please. Zidane, Conte. A really mixed bag. It's a really mixed bag that we've got in it right now on choices. Now, he has been brought up in internal discussions yesterday already. Now, that's obviously come from Vavell, the recruitment team, of the option of maybe bringing him across. I would assume before making the decision to sack Graham Potter as heavy as they have or quickly as they have, that maybe Vavell, with his relationship already in place or intact, having these internal discussions with Nagelsmann, finding out where his mind is, what he's up to, if he's ready to go straight back in. I think there's some meaning behind this, if you want my honest opinion. I think there's some real meaning behind these links. Is it a rushed decision from our side? We don't know. It depends how quick we kind of make the decision. I don't think it's an easy decision because I don't think Nagelsmann is completely the clear choice by the sounds of it. There might be other names thrown in it, which means that maybe it's a job open. And a job open means that maybe it takes a bit longer than a day or two or a couple of days. As we've seen how quick Bowley moved in signing getting Graham Potter appointed and sacking Tuchel. I could be wrong. It could be another Tuchel/Potter moment where we've sacked him off, and tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, Nagelsmann is the new manager of Chelsea. I don't know. I don't think so. Not on the fact that we've still got to play. So I think it will take for the rest of this week. We will learn more. Nagelsmann is also supposedly very in love with the CFC idea. It's getting very hot. He's hungry for the job, is what I've also read on Twitter. So I don't know. Let's just see what happens, guys. Let's just see what happens. But there is options, and there is other options other than just him, because yes, he may be the one that spoke the most. Pochettino is another that is available, and we've had lengthy discussions about. Luis Enrique is another who has been linked with Chelsea for a while. He's been linked with Chelsea for a while. Sending a link out to the team. Been linked to Chelsea for a while. So, look, I'm going to go through the chat and see what people have got to say about this news. So we've got, I prefer Luis Enrique than this Julian Nagelsmann, is what Taz is saying. Now, I would ask why. I want to ask questions why in the chat. We need to pay Bayern for Nagelsmann, right? Because the question is how much. It's not just about how much. It's more about length of contract. It's more about how we structure it and get him in and whatever else. Edkins says Conte would get on with our owners. He wouldn't get on. I agree. I think the idea of Conte doesn't work for me. The idea of Conte to Chelsea does not work one bit. We've got the panel coming in very shortly for you guys as well. I'm just going to quickly check if there's any more news before we go. And yeah, do you know what? I agree with what Lewis said here. I'll go to Lewis's comment before we actually bring in the panel as well. We've got Couch, we've got Kelly, and we've got Hassan, who we're going to get in a second. Goes on to say that they gave Potter every chance to turn things around, then swallowed their own pride and were able to sack him without having to give a full payout. Time to put some respect on Todd Bowley and Eghbali as well. Well, that's true, supposedly. That's true. And that brings in, obviously, the panel who are here now as well. And it's been a crazy Sunday. It's been an absolutely crazy Sunday. There's been more news on Nagelsmann as well, which I'm going to get up from Fabrizio Romano, which I need to find as well. But while I'm doing that, I want to talk to Couch. Quickly. Couch. Potter sacked. Nagelsmann supposedly in the lead. It's never a dull day at Chelsea, is it, mate?
I mean, they ruined my video. I was halfway in between editing my video for the Aston Villa review, where I was just berating this guy for his decisions. literally in the middle of berating this guy for his decisions, and my phone's blowing up. You guys are texting me, it's done, he's gone. I'm like, yo. So the video I'm about to release is the half Aston Villa half sack video. It's just crazy though, dude. It's not something that I didn't expect to have happen though, because we've had 7 wins since September. 7 wins since September. The standard and the expectations of this club are much higher than that, especially when you put the investment that we put into this club. You know, like, you can't accept that. Even if you wanted to give him the time to, you know, find his feet, you know, have the squad coalesce, get some synergy on the pitch, the results were just not there to give him that time. We haven't seen any progression in this squad. Like, let's not kid ourselves. The progression that we've seen is the playing staff that we put together. We bought better players, so we're going to see better football. But the actual ideation on the pitch, the actual application on the pitch has not improved. As a matter of fact, it's regressed. And we had to go back to a tactic that we saw before in order to find some level of success, because nobody understood what this guy wanted. His preferred style of play was not what the squad could not take to his preferred style of play. So we went back to what was working under Tuchel to see the results change. So I didn't see. I was on like a Mo stream yesterday. I was like, I didn't see it. I couldn't see it getting past Liverpool. If we didn't get a result versus Liverpool, I knew that the axe was coming down, and I expected this result to yield the discussions for what would happen on the subsequent. But I didn't expect it to happen today.
Yeah. But the decision was made to put that he would manage Liverpool, and then swiftly this afternoon changed around. Like, they just completely just changed their mind.
Who was saying that he was going to get Liverpool? Who was saying that?
Well, no, they did. Well, let's have a look. I can't remember actually. Someone in
a lot of conflicting journalist reports. They're coming in over. There were some at TalkSport. There were some by Ben Jacobs, but don't quote me on which ones there were. Some were coming up by Ornstein. There's been a lot of.
Ornstein said
Hey, no sling at Ben Jacobs, bro. He's a friend of the channel, and he always lets me talk in his spaces. So you know what I'm saying? We get them wrong sometimes.
I was after Ben Jacobs. What's it called? Twitter space.
Yeah, I was there as well with you.
He did say something like there was a feeling he would stay up until Liverpool.
Yeah,
that's
but
what
then
he said around.
Yeah, we also got told just now that the decision was made this afternoon swiftly that changed their minds. So something happened that's made them go. Actually.
I mean, after the game, is that the right time to have a board meeting to discuss what the decisions are going forward?
There would have been
today would have been the day anyways, right?
There would have been internal discussions with not specifically Potter, but the Vivels, the Lawrences, and whatever about
today after cooler head prevail, and you examine the wreckage, right?
Yeah,
that's when you make the decision. You don't make it in the spur of the moment after the result. Like this is exactly when you'd expect it to happen, but. You know, everyone the grandmother came out with reports yesterday and said, yeah, you know, they're going to keep him to this day and like no decisions about it until after the Champions League. They didn't even meet. I'm sure they didn't even meet until today.
I did think, I'll be honest with you, I think Todd Bowley was walking past me yesterday when I done the fan cam and said that I won't turn up to Chelsea. Another game at Chelsea.
Walking past us, Jim.
Yeah, he heard us, Tom, didn't he? He heard us, didn't he?
Watch that fan cam, man.
It's that fan cam. He's like, nah. Callie, let's go to you. Obviously, one second. Let me read this Snapchat and we'll go to you. Obviously, Victor, big up to you for the donations. If sacking Tuchel was a mistake, I said this from day one. Why sack an elite manager in Tuchel for a Champions League manager in Potter? Potter should be arrested, and as well as not just sacking, is what Victor's saying. Victor, thank you for the donations.
Can you leave that super chat up?
I also add to that by saying one thing. I don't think I've ever seen one season where 2 managers have been sacked.
It's never happened.
Having another one appointed. I can't think of another team that's ever had done that ever. So
I don't think it's
ever happened. It's time.
It's time. Go on, Callie. Go.
Wait.
I'm gonna borrow a bit from my United brethren for a bit. Sue! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You had my brethren Jem and Dawn. I'm sorry. I apologize. I had to hit it with the chest. Listen, you see Jem and Don, we're gonna stop going to Chelsea games live. I already told y'all I can only go 3 times a year. I already canceled my flights. Fuck all that. But listen, let's have a real talk. We need to have a real talk. First and foremost, we all knew he had to go. It shouldn't even be a joke. We all knew he had to go. Couch hit it nail on the head. Why are we talking tactics? There were no tactics. The tactics were genuinely, I shit you not. The tactics were get the ball to the top of the pitch, try to overwhelm the top of the pitch with as many of our attackers as possible, and get in front of the goal. You think I'm joking? Tell me what the real tactics were. Tell me what our address to the opposition was game in and game out.
I'll tell you what it was. What he did was he found Tuchel's playbook and decided to reinvigorate the squad by
He
using it again.
literally did
Because
Lampard
what he
ball
was
the
trying to
worst.
do was not working. Everything
He made
even
Lampard
playing
ball
Ruben
look
Loftus-Cheek
better.
as wingback is Tuchel. Like everything.
Listen, I need people.
Lampard ball one.
I don't even want to take up that much time because I thought we were going to come into an Aston Villa review. That's when I figured we were going to be shouting at each other and all this stuff. Yeah, I'm watching Chelsea fans were fighting each other at the bridge and shit. Listen, he had to go. There's no need to talk about it. Like, why are people talking about compensation, this and that? Listen, I understand. We spent a lot of money. If we did have to pay his full contract, which obviously none of us know right now. But listen,
he did say from the beginning he was consistent with it as well. So you got to give it to the guy.
Nah, facts. Matty was the first one to say Potter out, genuinely. But this is the final thing I want to land with. There's 2 criticisms that have to go. One was definitely the manager. The manager was at fault, 100%. Now it's the board. The board made a mistake sacking Tuchel. I don't care what anyone said. You could have let Tuchel ride the season and then get your next project manager in order, properly scouted with a board in place. They made a lot of trigger-happy decisions. Some of them were right as far as our squad. A lot of people wanted a lot of these players in the squad. Let's not have revisionist history all of a sudden. We wanted a lot of these players.
Bro,
but now, no, this is what I'm saying. Now it is time for the board, primarily the owners, to show they genuinely care about the club. You made a mistake. Everyone here has to respect the board for biting the bullet. Now Potter didn't help them because he slid so far down the table, we were going to possibly end up in 13th.
Gave him no choice.
You guys realize before Roman, we never dipped. Like, I don't think people understand the history. We never dipped this low. Before Roman.
No, we actually did. The first season in the Prem, we finished 11th. So we could have actually been worse.
We were going below 11th. We are on route for 14th, 13th in the league. Look at the form tables. Come on, man.
Lewis said it best yesterday in his
You're talking about a time when we played Burnley ball. Our Burnley ball's better than this, bro.
Bro, I would have took Sean Dyche at this point. That's how bad it was getting. But listen, they need to make sure they get the right manager in. If you guys ask me, I don't know. So I'm here to hear all your opinions.
We're gonna go to the next. That'll be the next bit. We'll go to the next one. But I want to stay on Potter specifically and just like find out.
Quickly, who's the youth manager though?
What did you say?
Who's got the under 21s?
Oh,
I don't know. I know John Terry's managing one of the other youth scouts. No, because
what's his name?
Listen, if we're talking true interim,
because I don't think that he's going to keep his. I don't think he's going to keep it. His staff's not staying. Like they're doing a complete clear out.
They are. Apparently, they are. They are for now.
No, they are.
Yeah, but Nangles, if it's a Nangelsman that comes in, he's not going to be using Potter's staff. He's going to have his own.
No. When that happens, now they're still here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Potter staff are still here for now, until we get.
They will be. They will be. Of course, they will. We've got a game on Tuesday. We've got to have someone here, haven't we? Things have to click on. What changes? I don't know.
That's why I was asking who the U21s is, because you can just.
Wait, Jem. About this on Potter, by the way, I just want this to be definitive. Don't even skirt around this shit, bro. Potter is the worst Chelsea manager, at least in Premier League history. Go look at the stats.
He was at
Any of my brethren right here that are going live and have seen him in all his games will tell you, eye test, he's the worst. He's worse than ABB. He's worse than Scolari. Lampard, for some of you, he is the worst Premier League manager of all time. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, we move on from that. And obviously, we've got Hassan here as well. Hassan, what did you say, mate?
There was just so much wrong. I feel like the job was just inevitably too big on him. And let's be honest, any manager of his caliber would have snapped your hands and bite your hands off just to get that kind of job at Chelsea. And I don't really blame him. And I'm just glad that he's gone now because let's be honest, our frustrations, our angers, because when that 90-minute went, my head was going and I was fasting and stuff, so I had to keep a bit of a cool. But my mind was like, "Fuck this prick! He has to go by the end of tonight." Like I really did not want him out of this club anymore, and it got generally toxic. And weren't they all chanting, "You getting sacked in the morning"? Like Jim, I think you were there at the game and stuff. It was getting really,
It
really
was
toxic.
horrible.
It was worse. It's worse than Mourinho toxic. 'Cause with everyone knew that Mourinho was going to go, and it was just a matter of time. But with Potter, right, I'm not going to lie to you. I genuinely believe it's not really Todd or Iqbali. I believe it was Revell behind the scenes that was pushing it. According to sources that I was reading, Revell's been eyeing managerial replacements since January. There was reports around saying that certain players started to get unhappy around February time. There was disharmony and stuff, and I genuinely believe that the players just got together and stuck it up because Champions League is what most of these players care about, and because it's evidence. Because look, before that 2-0, before we won 2-0 against Dortmund, nobody expected us to win that. Nobody expected them to fight. They turned up because let's be honest, probably because they care about the Champions League and probably it's the only way of getting it in. And
Individual brilliance, my man.
exactly,
it's the
and
trophy, it's the
so
competition.
it's
Players
a
always
competition
rise to
that
the
these
occasion
players
in
actually care
Champions League.
about.
That's what they live for. You know,
Yeah.
that has nothing
Exactly.
to do
So
with
it's
the
what
manager
they
invigorating the
didn't really
squad
care about the
to play
league.
a style
They
of football
confirmed
that they want to play. Like that had nothing to do with him. That's individual players understanding
Of
the
course it
importance
is.
of that tournament.
Couch. I was literally gonna say they just played because they like the competition. They want to stay in. They didn't care about Potter. And like what Kali said is right. We paid more money for him to hire him, which was like what £21.6 million. Adding 60 million to the contract, 50 million for his recruiting department. We spent inevitably the whole package is plus 100 million. And I give credit to the board and I give credit to Vivell and I give credit to all of them. They took a bullet because this package
That's like
ridiculous.
we're not paying it out anymore. We're not paying it out anymore. What we're doing is
It's not that we're
you
not
could
paying it out.
dismiss
It's being cut. Is what we're being
Oh,
told.
it's been cut. No,
yeah.
but it's still a lot though.
Yeah, you still take a hit though. You still take a financial hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I give respect to that because inevitably, like he had to go. Objectively speaking, he earned himself 2 games after, and we all agreed there's no point winning the must-win games and doing an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing the next 2. We all unanimously agreed with that. We gave him 2 games. He was 2-0 up, and we all knew his tactics. Bring on Gallagher. Bring on the wingers. It was the same thing, man. Bring on Gallagher.
1 second. That's true.
Bro, yo, that's why I said, what are the tactics?
If you're
What
going
are
to
the
bring
tactics?
comment on the back of a manager getting sacked, what sort of crap is this? Do you know what I mean, Miguel Delaney? Like, I honestly. Anyway, let me read these super chats out quickly. Victor, big up to you. Says, get Jose to inculcate winning mentality in those talents we have right now. Mourinho or Zidane is the answer. Is what he feels. He wants someone with a bit of a winning mentality.
No.
We've also got Fadil here who says, I know it's a far reach, but Pep is the best manager on earth right now by far. Chelsea would do well to price him away from City next season. He's saying wait till the summer and maybe Pep. Big up to Fadil with a donation.
Today, man. What's going on?
Let's go to Don. Don was with me yesterday. Me and Dom nearly pulled our hairs out, man. Honestly, it was pathetic. I mean, bro, he's now gone. We were saying he has to go, and we even said it, didn't we? We said, I bet we're going to be doing a show tomorrow. So he could be gone. Funny, but
yeah,
go
exactly.
On,
no, do you know what? He should have been gone after Southampton, but yesterday, just being in the game, like being at the actual stadium, right? It it felt different, man. Like at halftime, he got booed off. The whole team got booed off. At the end of the game, he got booed off. And again, I was saying to Jem yesterday, like, look at Unai Emery. Look at the difference, right, in that manager in comparison to Graham Potter. Just standing up, doing the same thing he does, sits back down, chats to the assistant manager for a few seconds, gets back up. He looks around, he starts clapping. It's the same old, man. And again, it was getting boring, like Jem said yesterday. Like, was having the same conversations after every single game. Couch, you've said it so many times. I know you like to analyze games and talk tactics a lot, right? But what can you speak about with him when he's just making basic errors? Who would, in their right mind, play two wing backs next to Koulibaly, who we know has bozo genes, right?
Bro,
Play
and
two
even
wing
beyond that,
backs
he had
next to
two
each other.
great center backs on the bench.
Yeah,
Centre backs on the bench.
The better informed
Never been-
center back in the bench. Badashie.
Absolute madness. You've got a player like Reece James who's good at hitting the ball, whipping it in first time. He's got a good creativity, but you're gonna tell Loftus-Cheek to play the same role that he can't do. I'm looking at Loftus-Cheek. He's trying to play as an 8 at wing back, and I kept saying to Jem during the match, Jem, we need to take him off at half time because this is madness. He didn't do anything. So again, that's just another story of the in-game management that we've been speaking about all season when it comes to a lot of the games. We've, like Lewis said yesterday, we've lost all the easy runnings. We've got a hard run of games coming up. And when I was looking at the fact that we've still got Potter, I said, I don't know where we're going to get the next win or even a point, because Liverpool can just turn up whenever they want. We've got Arsenal at the Emirates. We're all going to get smoked.
We got the entire Big Six plus Real Madrid to still
Real
play.
Madrid. We've got Real Madrid coming up.
Grounds.
Exactly. I know our record against Real Madrid is good. Like 1 win against us in 7 appearances is not a joke. But with Graham Potter in charge,
Smashed our record.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. So Graham Potter would have absolutely ruined that. Imagine Graham Potter next to Ancelotti, man. Like, no chance. So it's madness. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm looking at that. It's peak, man. So listen, this was needed. I tweeted yesterday that we're delaying the inevitable and it just doesn't make any sense. But now they've kind of swallowed their pride. I think they had a release clause in there because they don't have to pay out the amount of money as much as he's fleeced us already. The guy was the fourth highest earner in the Prem, getting more than Ten Hag.
Yeah, in the world. In the world.
So 7 wins in almost 7 months, bro.
No, I think it was in the Premier League.
Wins?
Not in the world, it's in the Premier League. The most world
They had,
football.
they had Simeone in there too. Simeone was like a 24.
Madness. Yeah. So for me right now, like I said, Nagelsmann, I do think is a good coach, but I want us to not rush into it. You know, make the right decision because this is going to be critical now. Because again, Bowley made that decision when he didn't have, Vivell and Winstanley and that. He made that decision by himself. I can't fault his ambition, but now the eyes are going to be on him. Now everyone's going to be looking at this next appointment because it has to work. It has to work.
Facts.
So
yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to work, but you have to recognize that the situation is untenable, and they've done that. I don't know if the next manager has to be the guy. We want him to be the guy. We want everyone to be the guy. Anyone that comes to the club, I want him to be successful. But the point
what I mean is
that there was an error in judgment by bringing Potter to the club.
Well,
That's the most important thing. Whether or not it's Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann, whoever these names are, you want it to work, but it doesn't have to work. No,
when I say it has to work, is that we have to see clear improvements straight away. I'm looking at Aston Villa. I'm looking at Aston Villa, right? And let me just land my point, Hassan. I'm looking at Aston Villa. When Gerrard got sacked, right, they were 17th. They are ahead of us now, right? When he got sacked, they were 17th. They are now 10th. Yeah, and you can see that he's changed it there. We spoke about their form before the game, and I said to you, James, Ollie Watkins is going to more as well. Do you know what I mean? So you can just see it. Like when you've got a good coach, things are going to happen straight away. Look at Sean Dyche. First game, you can see a clear difference. So when I say it has to actually work, I'm saying in the short term as well as the long term. Of course, ideally, yes, we don't know what's going to happen long term. In the short term, we need to see a drastic change from the dross that we've seen because we need to start preparing. If we're not seeing that.
Yeah, that's why I don't see this decision maybe being rushed as much. And when Matty mentions about the genuine question of the board making the right appointment after obviously the sacking of Tuchel and bringing in Potter, I think this is the difference to where we are now to where it was then. And when you look at where it was then, it was just Bowley and Igbali and Tuchel. There was no there was no real guidance with the board or recruitment team of Vivell or Lawrence
There's
Stewart.
no
or Rich
Vivell,
Daly,
no
to
Which was
Shield.
be
part
able
of the
to
problem,
feed-
to be honest, if we're being honest, right?
Yeah,
Because
to
you know,
be
you don't
able
make
to-
a decision about who you want to be your manager going forward before you assemble your team.
Well, you know, look, but they made
your directors, right?
What I'm getting at is they made real big rash decisions, like getting rid of half of the current board that was from Roman era, yeah, along with the decision of backing Tuchel, but then getting rid of him without really digesting and understanding what they were doing. Because what they then did is run to go and get, they got rid of him, fine, but then it was the decision of appointing a manager that had never managed at this level. What made them, have that mindset to be able to have done that? And you look at it now, and the big difference now is that you have got a Christian Vivell in your head with the experience, the understanding of football, and the knowledge, the idea of, well, right, you want the Red Bull model. Okay, cool. We know what project we want to do. We're all here. We understand what route we want to go down. But these are the managers that I think are going to be able to do that. Obviously, Nagelsmann for Vivell is going to be number one. Let's not like he's going to push that to the ground. Like that, I can see that happening. But then you've got Lawrence Stewart, you've got Paul Winstanley, right? And this is why I think with the word exhaustive, meaning that it's not going to be something maybe that happens so quickly. It may be apparent because I don't think Todd Bowley and Egbali really know Nagelsmann. I think they're just relying on the people next to them to give them a bit of guidance that fits their module idea and say, "What
as they should, as they should,
exactly, as they should." So
leave the football decisions to
is,
men that work in football.
Exactly.
I was going to say.
One second, Hassan. What I'm saying is, it might be a case that it's open. We've got to bear in mind, we've only got 10 games left. All right, we've got Champions League and it's important. I get that. And we would like to ideally have someone in. I get all this. But it might not be a smooth, quick process with the board actually agreeing on specifically one manager like that straight away. Because they have to get it right, to a degree.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pitch who they think best. He's gonna have to pitch who he thinks best, right? And this is the thing, Jem. I'm not gonna completely fault Bowley for what he did, because look, everyone can make mistakes, yeah. And he was playing the game of football on paper because he's looking at data-driven model, and he's looking at Graham Potter. He comes from a data-driven background, so he's looking at it like, okay, if he comes from a data background, maybe he'll work at Chelsea. But we all know football's not played on paper. He was not the right appointment at the time. I was behind it at the time because I could see the logic. I said, right, okay, let's see if we can actually cook something up with resources behind him. But clearly, he was out of his depth from the get-go. So, Matty, you were right, bro. From the beginning, he's been banging on, saying that this guy's going to make us worse. I said, look, he's here now. They've made a decision. Me saying get him out isn't going to change anything. Let's just see what he does once we've actually got some new players and people, back from injury. But it's just got worse, Jem. He's getting worse. Yeah. He's got worse with better players. He gets worse every second half. The decision-making, the insulting of our intelligence, every press conference, it's a madness. So this has been long overdue, man. And I'm happy that this nightmare is over for now, because it feels like a bad dream that's been going on for the past however months, 8-9 months. Feels like a bad dream. So we're not fully awake yet, but at least we can just get up now and not have to think we're going to have a nightmare later today.
I'm awake.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm awake as well.
I'm wide-eyed and bushy tailed.
When I say awake, I'm saying that I ain't got chest yet because there's nothing to show for it as of yet. Do you know what I mean? But what it is that everyone's looking at that
he's gone. Right. Finally, they've actually grabbed their balls and gone, do you know what? Actually, we fucked this up here. Like this.
Do you know what though? When I saw the statement posted by the club, I put it in all my group chats, and literally all my boys that are rivals were like, no. They all say no. They're not happy about it because obviously they wanted him to stay. Do you know what I'm saying? So
the issue with it, I'll say this, right? The issue with it, Don, and we was at the game yesterday, and this is what I said it at the beginning of this game, is that there's too much quality in this team to be playing like we are. It's just no answer. It doesn't matter if it's Koulibaly or Reece or whatever. That quality of that team beats Aston Villa all day, in my opinion, right? But we don't. In the second half, I've never seen a manager like Potter that is able to regress a team as much as he has. Like, there was just nothing. Like, they just don't. They're just so lost out there. Like, it was like you saw how angry me and you were getting watching that game. I wanted to leave after the first half time. I was done. I didn't want to watch it because I knew I could see it happening again. And I'm looking.
And the funny thing is too, beyond that too, the funny thing about that whole thing too is you would expect a manager to come out and just invigorate the squad. Like he doesn't even have those. Like the squad always seems to regress every time that guy comes out of a. It's weird. And then when you look at his substitution patterns, like aside from that, did any of the substitutions outside of N'Golo Kante yesterday make any sense to you? He brings on Madueke to play right wing back. He brings on Pulisic to play left wing back. He moves Chilwell, the only real attacker that we had all game, to left center back. Like anyone with even a novice understanding of football could see that those decisions made absolutely no sense
whatsoever. In the middle and puts Kovacic as the holder.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I don't know. Kante was playing right wing. He was playing right wing. He was playing attacking midfield. He was going back. I don't understand it, man. It was a mess.
I'm sorry. He lost there and then. I looked at him and he had lost it for me at West Ham when he doesn't know how to get himself out of situations when he goes behind. He just doesn't have the answers. That's the problem. He don't know what to do. Victor with the super chat says it's obvious British managers can't coach top clubs. My mum can do better job with that squad in Chelsea. Get top club managers like Enrique, Mourinho, Zidane. Don't trust Nagelsmann and Poch. Now we have a sporting director, so he's more confident in the sporting director. He goes in again and sends another super chat donation. Big up to him.
Oh my God!
Big up, man. Big up.
He's like, "Yo, man, get rid of this guy."
Big up, Victor. He says all the excuses they was making for Potter is over. From half of the team was injured, as teams to bad result, to as many big players with big egos. Which one is which Potter? Just tell them this club is too big for you, is what he's saying there.
And you know what it is? That is a true statement, because you know why? Like it's beyond okay. First of all, we all know that we haven't really identified a style of play with this club. Like there hasn't been anything, right? But aside from that, I don't think this guy's ready to manage at this level where you have a game every 3 days and every game you have to win. Like we're not thinking about like, well, the lads gave everything and then we drew at home to Aston Villa. Like you have to come out of those games, prepare the squad. And I agree that coming out of an international break where you don't have a lot of time to prepare with your preferred lineup, it's hard, it's difficult. But top managers can do that. Top managers have a style of play that is conducive to getting wins in those conditions. Top managers know how to get 3, 4, 5, 6 wins on the trot. When you're playing 2-3 matches in a week, he's in over his head, man. That's really what it comes down to for me.
This is a really obvious comment though, isn't it? Really, Christian Falk. I mean, what would you choose? A team that's successful or a team that can't fucking win a blimmin' baby cup? Do you know what I mean? Like of course he's going to choose Chelsea over Tottenham. You know what I mean?
They'll probably get Brendan Rodgers.
It's all lined up for Pochettino to return, man. It's all lined up.
You know what? I heard somebody on a stream yesterday. They said that Potter would be the ideal replacement
for Spurs.
I think
it's good for Spurs. It's good for Spurs.
I'm being real.
It's less the time for him now.
Are low.
Time for him now.
Like they don't really they don't really. He can work with a low budget. Doesn't have to work with big egos there. Like I think he'd be great there.
If you're Tottenham right now, you're not pushing for Brendan Rodgers, then there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. Brendan Rodgers has to go to Tottenham over Potter. You want to win something.
No, don't do that. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to them.
No. Let me just say something, because Cali, the decision making that he's shown, it's like he's never managed a game in his life before, right? You can't tell me right now that what he's actually done, if you watch the game, hasn't dented him as a coach. It definitely has, because it's not him playing good football and actually seeing progressive style of play. It's nothing. He has shown nothing. So why does he deserve to go to Spurs now? He should have gone to Spurs before coming to Chelsea. That was a step up for him. I think now he's got to go Leicester and Brendan Rodgers gets the job at Spurs. If I was a Spurs fan, but if they pick Potter, so be it. I don't care what they do.
Oh, they're trying to get Potter? Are they insane?
No, what I'm saying is,
it's good for them.
Potter should go. It'll be good for them.
Oh, yeah. If I'm a Spurs fan and I hear anything about Potter incoming, I would cry, honestly. Like, you go Brendan Rodgers over Potter any day. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, we've got a comment from Simon Johnson that says the new hierarchy was taken back by the level of anger fans express when things go wrong. Array, like they were shocked apparently, like how serious it got yesterday, Don, when we was there. I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of boos, there were lots of singings to basically get rid of him. It was brutal yesterday. People were not happy. Like one guy next to me, he left in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. He got up and walked off. 30 minutes. He walked all the way down there. 30 minutes. He got up and left. Right next to us. Like,
yeah, because at first, what we heard the Villa fans singing "You sacked in the morning," and then after that, what we heard singing from the Matthew Harding stand was "You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're." Sorry, Hassan, they were singing "You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing." That was coming from the fans.
You guys have to understand it's a culture shock for the owner, right? Because all the other sports he's experienced, it's honestly a culture shock. When you if you've never been in that environment, like imagine going to a North London derby, for example.
Yeah.
If you've never seen how hostile that environment gets, it will shock you. So it's shocking to him. He's like, wow, look at all these supporters, and they're all angry at this one guy in the dugout. So, look, he got sacked literally the day after. Thank you. Some type of pride of London. Actually, they sacked him. I respect them for biting the bullet.
They did. And now we've got options. There's Enrique, there's Nagelsmann, there's Pochettino, Don's lover. You know, there's lots of options.
When Poch goes Real Madrid, we're gonna have conversations because he's looking at
No. Let's be very clear. We do not sack Potter. We do not sack Potter at the end of the season. We do not sack two managers in one calendar year to go get Poch. I'm sorry. Like this has to be respectfully, and this I don't even mean this with disrespect to Poch. This has to be a work with the board. The board needs Vivell, all of them need to get together as a team and properly get a manager who's going to work with these crop of players. Because we can't just look how many players we have as it is. Forget the fact we have to do a bunch of outgoings, a bunch of reconstruction, all these has-beens coming back to the club. We also going to have to realize that the manager might not like half of these players. Then what? We have to get a manager who's going to be willing to work with this squad. And that is key.
He was waiting
and
for
Poch is not it. That's all I'm saying is Poch is not it. I don't have the answers.
Don, he was waiting for this yesterday. Remember this yellow? We said it was waiting for this yellow.
I was hoping I'd wake up to that, mate. I thought I'd wake up to that, but I'm happy either way. Do you know what though? Funny enough,
Victor,
I saw a tweet earlier from this random girl. She tweeted apparently Potter's been sacked, but there was no likes or anything. I think there was like 5 likes on there, and she tweeted underneath. She was like, "Yeah, someone in the club has like let me know." So I thought, I don't know if this is an ITK or not. But yeah, man, I'm still shocked even now. I'm surprised they've actually done it.
Victor comes out of another donation. Big up to Victor as well. He's smashing it today. He says, get Ancelotti if we must wait till the summer is what he feels. He's saying Ancelotti.
I was going to say, is Ancelotti definitely leaving at the end of the season at Real Madrid? Does anyone know? Because there has been rumours.
He's looking like he's on the ropes right now. So I think Portugal.
Ancelotti, the only manager with the Chelsea double, that Ancelotti.
Right, so let's do this then, because the 3 managers that really are standing out at the moment are these 3. That's the ones that seem to be standing out. Let's have a little quick vote, and then once voting, I want to know why as well from people. Why would they pick one of these 3? I mean, Couch, are you still here? If Couch is still here, it might have disappeared for a second. We'll come back to Couch. So, Don, I'll ask you, bro. Out of these 3 managers, I know you're going to say, why do you want
get it over with, man?
Like I said, for me, I'm just being real specific right now. I've seen Pochettino do quite similar things to Nagelsmann, but in the Premier League, right? He knows the Prem inside out. But the thing is, I'm not against Nagelsmann, but what my main problem is, I feel like a lot of people overrate him and go over the top when they're speaking about his achievements and what he's done as a coach. I think he's a good coach, and I wouldn't be against it. But for me, I've just seen Poch do it in the Prem, right? We spoke about it over the stream. I'm not going to go into the reasons why in a lot of detail, but for me, I've actually seen Poch do it in the Prem. I am quite skeptical when it comes to bottling it. Like I said, in terms of the final decisions, when it's crunch time in finals or semi-finals, that is one of the things that that brings him down a bit. But yeah, I'm not against Nagelsmann, but for me, I'd probably still say Poch. But if Nagelsmann comes in, I'll fully support him. I'm happy with him coming in, but I just think that people overrate him, and he's not the finished articles. He's far from it. In fact, he's far from it. He's still got a lot to learn, but he's still going to be a good appointment. But like I said, Jem, ideally, I wouldn't want Poch or Nagelsmann right now, but it just doesn't seem like there's anyone, top of the top that's available. So, yeah, man. For now, Poch, Nagelsmann. I think Poch does it for me, but Nagelsmann, I'm not against it. I'll probably say he's my second choice.
All right.
Can I just quickly comment? I'm in transit right now, but like, it's not so much just about the fact that people love Nagelsmann. Like, I'm cheerleading in his corner, and it's not because I think that he's leagues above the other choices out there. It's because there's a natural partnership already at this club already. We already have a staff that knows him, understands how he works, his tendencies and whatnot. There's not going to be any growing pains. There's a natural transition from one idea of football to another. And that's why I'm not against it. And that's why when I look at the aspects of it, I'm like, right, cool, okay. And then Cuckoo, he's worked with Cuckoo before. Jemmy made the point the other day. That's why I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, for me, it is a match on paper, I would say, but in terms of his ability as a coach, I just feel that he's overrated. That's
model on the project.
But that has to be a big part of it, though, because you're not going to bring in another manager that is going to be leagues above Nagelsmann right now. Like, you're not. Like, you can't tell me that Poch is leagues above like Nagelsmann.
No, that's not my point. My point is literally going back to people overrating him. That's literally it. That's what my problem is. I'm not saying he's a shit coach. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying people got over the top with him. That's it. That's literally it.
Well, staying on Nagelsmann, we've got a comment from Pletty Gold. It says, Nagelsmann sees Chelsea as an option due to Vivell, the players that are already there and the project. So apparently he likes the overall idea where we're going, what we're doing. Probably the fact that it's very similar to the Red Bull model, which I did say to people, I think is the route that we will look at, but with more money, if that makes sense, in terms of how we're going to be still aggressive with sort of the top players and stuff like that. So, I mean, Callie, what are you saying, bro? You got three. I've put them three there for now because they're the three that we, that
you might as well just close those white bars, get rid of Poch right there. Honestly, I want to get back as close to what we lost with the first manager we sacked this year. I go for Enrique. But like Couch said, if I want to go with what might actually be the better fit right now, I go for Nagelsmann. It honestly depends what is our goal. If our goal is long-term project genuinely and Potter was just the problem, then prove that. Get Nagelsmann. Show that you're going to develop an actual sustained project. And at the end of this supposed years, we're watching other teams win trophies. We're coming for a sustained title charge for a period of time. If that's not the goal, go get the most world-class manager available, premium Chelsea style, and go for some trophies. It's up to the ownership. We could all argue about our opinions and stuff. It's irrelevant. It really is up to the ownership. So what is it going to be? Because now you're showing you're actually showing more recklessness than Roman, to be honest with you. You sacked 2 managers in a calendar year. Let me think back.
That's true.
No, this is mad. This is unprecedented times. Like, what the absolute F? So please, I just want to know, what is the actual vision at this football club? If it really is to go, go.
No, I was just saying, is it more of a thing now that it's where it's still so raw and fresh in terms of what we're trying to do? It's not like saving the project, because it can be saved because it's still so early, but it's not like, what I'm trying to get is, it's not like they're so into the project that it can't be saved. It doesn't matter. Even if you get rid, you get someone else, there's more problems. It's more at a point now that they've acted because it's still so raw. Does that make sense in where they're going and the purpose of what they're trying to do?
Yeah. I completely understand. Like I said, clearly, because Bowley was there. Bowley came out of that game and spoke with Vivell clearly. Vivell and the board have been pushing this. That is what is being Simon Johnson. All the reports right now are saying, for time, we've been looking at some replacements. And Nagelsmann apparently has been leading that pack. So,
supposedly,
directly after that game, he gets sacked. So all I know is, to be honest with you, we might have a new manager incoming very soon. I just hope
that could happen.
They actually do their homework. No 5-year deals, no crazy contracts. That's all I'm asking.
Just get it right. And I agree with that. And I think Like it might be a case, like I said, maybe it isn't exhausted and they do come to an agreement quickly. We've seen how aggressive this ball can be when it comes to making decisions and getting the person that they want next. So, these are all things. Victor says Nagelsmann is a model, not a coach. That's what he feels. Big up to Victor. Hassan, go on, mate. What are you saying?
Honestly, if we're all going by what would suit the project and what would actually be beneficial to the club, if you guys are, for me, right, Vivel's been pretty much spot on. The window that we all gave a 10 out of 10 to when we signed Enzo Fernandez, them signings have been Vivel signings. When Boli stepped down as soon as Vivel came in, he's the one that's been pushing for Madueke, all these lot, Buddy Shield and all these lot. So obviously I'm going to trust the guy who gave us all these type of players and this philosophy. And he knows which manager, because apparently from the reports that I've read and the tweet that I've shared into the group chat and stuff, when Vivel came in, the first thing he noticed was probably the manager issue. And I believe I wouldn't say day one, when the results were going bad, I believe he was the one that was pushing it behind the scenes. I believe that he was one of the few that was causing a split decision in the board. And us as fans echoed a toxic environment for them to go over the line and say, let's go take a bite the bullet. And I wouldn't be surprised if they've been talking to Nagelsmann since he's been dismissed, and they've been talking behind the scenes. They've probably lined it up. Because let's be honest, I do believe part of the journalists where they're saying there was a feeling they were going to keep him to Liverpool, because I genuinely believe they're probably lining up a manager. It might be Nagelsmann coming in the next day or the day after, or maybe after Liverpool he'll be announced. But of course, I'm going to go with what Vivel is doing. I believe that Vivel will put us back in the right track. He's shown high standards and ruthlessness, and he's generally a ruthless guy. And if we're going with a project and a footballing brain, we're going to have to trust him. So it's probably going to be Nagelsmann for me. I think it makes sense, and I think it makes sense for the project.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. Obviously, I need to go. We're going to go to Kay in a second, obviously, and talk to him. But I need to just quickly speak to Couch. Couch. I mean, you said Nagelsmann. I mean, what would be your preferred choice at the three, mate?
Yeah, I mean, the most logical decision is Nagelsmann for the reasons I've already stated. In terms of the football and whatnot, I've seen more of Enrique, and I've liked more of what I've seen from Enrique. But, I mean, it just doesn't seem realistic right now. There's a big risk of that if we go with Enrique. We have another problem with identifying the right synergy between the directors and the coach and the playing staff. It might mean that we go in a completely different direction. I just think that this is a natural transition going from Nagelsmann, going from Potter, who, had a bit of a relationship with Winstanley and whatnot, to Nagelsmann, who clearly has a relationship with Vivel, the guy that is shaping the direction of the club, the playing staff going forward. We don't have to wait for, to see if they can coalesce and work together. We know that they can work together, and that is important to me. That's important step. It's why you before you hire the manager, you have to get the director in place first. That's exactly why you do that, to ensure that you have a relationship with the directors and the playing staff and the manager. And that's essentially what's going to happen here if we do get Nagelsmann, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. There's more comments from Nizar Kinsella on Nagelsmann. It goes to say that Nagelsmann is interested in the Chelsea job, but it's very early days in the search. He wants a break anyway, is what it says. And it goes on to also say that both sides say that talks have yet to begin, but he remains an option for Chelsea. Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart are leading the search for the Chelsea's new manager. So there you go. They're the two individuals that are supposedly being put in place for this as well. I want to welcome Kay to the show. Kay, welcome. I mean, big up to you, bro. Obviously, I've not spoke to you before, so obviously it'd be quite interesting to get your thoughts on obviously this news that we've received this evening in regards to Graham Potter getting sacked, and how you felt, obviously, how you feel to that, and then also finding out what you feel in regards to new appointments as well, mate.
Yeah. First of all, it's Kev. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Is it Kev?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you say?
Cool. Yeah, it's Kev. Yeah. It's Kev.
Oh,
KJS
right.
is just short for. It's just my initials. It's just my
Oh,
initials.
Kev.
But
Big
yeah,
up,
man.
Kev. Sorry, mate. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Big up. Yeah. A bit about myself. Been a fan from when I landed at my dad's balls. To be honest, been a fan for 34 years. Obviously, dodgy accent. I'm from Birmingham way. My dad's from Brixton. My dad's been a fan for 60 years. You know, so it's in the blood. You know, and
Yeah.
since I've been a fan, since what I know of, we've always every single Chelsea team I've seen they've played for the badge. You know, they've been passionate about the team, and it's just been ripped out. The last 6 months has just not been Chelsea whatsoever. You know, okay, we've got all these silky class players, but it doesn't wash with me. You know, spending 600 mil, I don't care. I just want to see stuff on the pitch, and it's not been that. You know, we've had the worst manager, stats wise, 33% wins in the last 6 months. It's not Chelsea. This is relegation. This is a Wolverhampton Wanderers kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's not us. So obviously the news been broken tonight. Everyone's happy, man. You know, I've even been to the shop, bought myself some beers and that. You know what I mean? I'm gassed. I'm gassed. You know, I can't believe what we're seeing. I didn't think it'd be so soon. I didn't think they'll pull the plug. I thought these Yanks were just going to keep it till the end of the season. Not good enough, you know. We're going into this Champions League game against Real Madrid. We need to have a tactical plan when we go to Spain to try and win. And when you bring in Kante in the last 10 minutes when you're 2-0 down and bringing him on right wing, we know tactics wise we lost, you know, and it's just fantastic to see. Going on to my next manager, we got the three man in front of us. We've got Nagelsmann, we've got Pochettino, and we've got Luis Enrique. For me, the first choice would be Luis Enrique, 100%. Reason being, you know, he's brought this tiki-taka to Barcelona, and during the World Cup as well, we've seen the Spain hit 7 goals. The style of football, the charisma, everything about the man, you know. If we get this guy, I can see us probably getting that first star. Second choice will be Nagelsmann. You know, he hasn't really done much in his career. You know, he's been to Bayern Munich and he's won the league over there. But even anyone in this group, in this chat right now, would win the league of Bayern Munich. It's not really an amazing thing he's done there. So he'd probably be my second choice. Third choice would be Pochettino. You know, I wouldn't really want him. You know, ex-Tottenham. Even when he was at PSG last season with Messi, Neymar, all the rest of them, Mbappe, never really done anything there, you know, and he got sacked. So first would be Luis Enrique, 100%. You know, I think if we get him in this, I don't think we'll get him in before the Liverpool game, but if we get him in towards the end of the week and we're going to the Wolves game weekend with him, I'm sure we'll turn it instant. It'd be an instant turnaround. You know, he'll know what to do on the training ground. He'll bring a style of football that we all can enjoy, and I'm sure we'll bring some confidence around the club so we can go and get that third star.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Interesting. I haven't said my thoughts on manager. I've been pushing the fact that I think what we need is a winning mentality, someone that can come in and install a winning mentality in this team. I think you do get that from an experienced manager, a manager that has a CV to show what they've done and the experience. It is very hard. We had conversations before with Don and others where we said, like, well, you know, if Potter does get sacked and it's now, and we're talking about now, what will we do? And I said, well, actually, I think we probably have to wait to the summer because things change for managers at different clubs. There may be more that are available. We're not in that position now. So it's a case of, are we going to not say rush, but make a decision swiftly with one of these are available? Will we allow Bruno, the interim coach, to run the course of the next 10 games and even the Champions League? I don't know. We're being told that Todd Bowley We've been told that Todd Bowley looks at the Champions League and wants us to be, you know, quite serious in it and be as successful as possible in it as well. Can we do that with Graham Potter's ex-crew in there for the rest of the season? I don't know is another question. So I've got a feeling they're going to want to try and get this done quite swiftly to a degree, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a swift process. We've just been told that Nagelsmann would like to have a little bit of a break. It could be the case that he might want to jump in summer. He might be going, well, there's only 10 games left. I want to, you know, have a little week, you know, cut these off and whatever. I'll be back in the summer. You know, Pochettino, I think if he went to Pochettino, I think he would just take the job, in my opinion. I think if you give him the projects and what we've got to offer him, obviously forgetting the money, what's here now and where we're trying to move and the idea, I think Poch would grab it. But when you're talking about winning mentality and actually trying to install that in the players we have, it's not an issue of these players not having the quality, because we can all sit here and say that yesterday's lineup, even though it was quite unbalanced in how we were set up, the quality that was on the pitch was better than Aston Villa's. It's good enough to go and win that game, right? So we know that the quality's there. But it's then about finding the manager that can install not only the game plan and style plays very important, but also install the winning mentality moving forward and then build up them consistent wins and whatever else. And when you look at Luis Enrique, as much as his CV isn't massive, yes, he's done amazing at Barcelona. You could probably maybe argue, was it Roma he was at where he wasn't as, you know, it wasn't as successful.
It was good at Roma as well.
It was, but, you know,
it was good at Roma.
You know, yeah, but it's the success side of it as well, and what he did at Roma. You know, his CV's very built up from what he did at Barcelona with the players. Success he was, you know, being said, Messi in his prime and whatever else, and so, you know, don't take it away from him because he had a style of play and it works. We've seen him at Spain, and coaching the Spanish team, and a lot of people look at it and go, well, actually, you know, I don't actually like that because. You know, a lot of people say it reminds them of Sarri ball. Do you remember the way that they keep the ball so much? And
And that's what we want to see, though. We want to see with Potter right now. We're not seeing any kind of game plan. We're not seeing any kind of. We're not seeing no balance to the team. I would love to see Sarri ball back at the club. At least then we had a style of football. What's our style of football now? At least we know if we get Luis Enrique, we're going to get a style of football.
It's fine.
We're going to get a man.
Yeah, but the thing is, the main concern that I've got for Enrique, Kev, is that he doesn't really have a plan B. He doesn't really have a plan B. He's not as flexible as the other two in this list. I'll be real with you. Like, he was good at Barcelona. He was quite underwhelming at Spain. And again, Roma, he done an okay job. But overall, the sample size with Enrique pretty much is Barcelona, I would say. That's the main thing that a lot of people look at when he had the greatest three attackers, arguably, that we've ever seen in the game. So he's a good coach, but I think at the moment, Nagelsmann, he aligns with what we're trying to build going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I would say that he's more of a fit. I would say Nagelsmann's more of a fit than Enrique right now at this stage.
I just don't think he's going to take the job right now.
Yeah.
I think, like he said, a bit, G. I think he's going to wait till the end of the season. He's just been sacked from Bayern. I don't think he's going to want to jump straight into another job. So if we was going to take a manager right now, and someone who's already won the Champions League, he's going to bring a philosophy and a style of football, it's going to be Luis Enrique. Pochettino, you know, his style of football is a bit more defensive. Like we said at Tottenham, you know, there was a counter-attacking team. He had better players than what he's got at Chelsea right now, and he never won anything there. He hasn't won anything.
No, he didn't have better players than us. He didn't have better players than us, apart from Harry Kane and who else? Dele Alli at the time. He definitely didn't have a better. He didn't have a better defense than us. He didn't have a better midfield than us. Apart from Dele Alli, who did he have in that team? Go look at it. It was Alderweireld. He had Vertonghen.
They had Dembele, and he was class.
Okay, yeah, Dembele was class. Yeah, he was a baller.
He probably never had a better squad, but he had a better team. Yeah. When you talk about individual players one for one, we've got a better team like that.
Quality.
When you talk about a squad, a winning squad with a mentality that are played together, he had a better team. Yeah, and you never really know what did he do. In them few years, he got to the Champions League final. That's it. You know, he never won anything else. Okay, they won in that run when they got to second place when we beat them at the bridge, the battle of the bridge. But he hasn't done anything, you know. And he went to PSG, and all the players, even Mbappe came out and drew him out. Said his training sessions and his style of football is not what we want to see. It's defensive minded.
What I would,
So
yeah. No, go on, Kev. Go on, mate. Go on. Finish.
So if we want to implement an attacking style of football, let's look at the World Cup. Go look at that game. Okay, they didn't play a good team, but they still hit that team for 7. And the style of football he brought to that team is what we want to see at Chelsea. I want to see us playing that Sarri ball, that tiki-taka. At least then it's good on the eye, you know, and at least then we've got something we can go and watch and say, you know what, we're doing bits. And I'm sure Luis Enrique will bring that to us.
I think the most important thing out of all of this, and this is why I kind of highlighted all 3 of them, is that I ain't fully sure on all 3 of them. I'm kind of, it doesn't make me jump out my chair, is what I'm saying. When I look, because I'm not sure on Nagelsmann, because I've looked at what his stats at Bayern Munich. He only lost 3 games and he got sacked. You know, that's still an impressive, you know, stat in itself, but it is Bayern Munich at the same time. Don't get me wrong, right? So he got sacked. I look at Pochettino. I ain't even going to entertain it. Don knows my thoughts on Pochettino. I just don't think he is the right fit for me, even though I know Don feels he is, but it's not for me. And then I look at Luis Enrique and I think, well, yeah, he is out on paper the most experienced manager. He has won things. However, yes, he gives us the tiki-taki, and yes, we'll have a style of play. But will we have the winning mentality? We'll be able to go on and kick and challenge and do these things moving forward with him. That's, you know, with Sarri ball, it was great to watch and see, wasn't it? We liked, you know, parts of what we were doing, but I still felt frustrated watching it because I felt sometimes that we overplayed, that we could have created more chances in the games, that we could have been a bit more effective on our counter-attacking abilities and the way that we played. So there's little bits and bobs of this is why I'm a little bit like this. I'm just not 100%, if that makes sense. And
when I say when you say winning managers, there's literally no one, no proven winning managers available apart from Zidane. So that's why we have to look.
Yeah,
Ancelotti is not available. When I say available, he would be the next best option when it comes to a proven winning manager. Because Nagelsmann, he might have won in his career, but he's not proven over a long period of time. He's not as a winning manager. So right now, if you're looking for a proven winning manager, it's Zidane, and for me, he doesn't fit what we're trying to do. So it's going to have to be Nagelsmann. He aligns with what we've got right now best.
He aligns with the project and module of Red Bull and what we're trying to do.
I think Nagelsmann long term, I think you're looking, is probably the better option long term. But if you want instant success, the three guys you got on the screen right now, I don't think none of them are going to fit that bill. I think if you want instant success right now, and you want someone who's going to walk through that door and get the respect straight away, we go for Jose Mourinho. And I said this from the start. I said,
it's funny. It's funny because as you say that, like, this is part of the problem that I have with, like, even Luis Enrique. It's not that he doesn't have the CV. It's the fact that I don't think that he has the gravitas to go into a dressing room in London where English is not his best language and command that dressing room. That's really what I feel like is the major stumbling block with selecting him as a manager for this project. I mean, it's not. Is it really? I don't know. I thought.
No, hell no.
I think Conte.
You know what I'm saying? You're saying you want someone that can go in there and demand authority with the team, right? Conte.
Forget Conte.
Oh, I thought you meant that's how. I thought you meant that's how I was describing Enrique, because it's not.
No.
Enrique, he doesn't really give me that big manager mentality vibe, like a guy that can go in the dressing room and say, "Listen, you guys are fucking up right now. Let's go. We need this right now." He has a simple style of play. You know, so like, I don't know. The thing is, though, a leader on the touchline, like somebody that can be a real leader.
We're talking about Conte. We're talking about Nagelsmann. Yeah, they're not gonna. They've literally just been sacked within the last week. They're not gonna jump straight into this charge straight away. So we've got to be realistic. That's something we probably look towards next season, and we've still got a third left of the season. I don't think we can.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like the fact that they pulled the trigger so quick, decisively right now.
Shows that intent.
Yeah, it shows that intent. I mean, we already know that they're talking to Nagelsmann. Like we already know that this is these talks are already occurring. Maybe he's ready to come. Maybe
he's worked
decided that he wants to do it.
Yeah, but it
He's
might
worked-
be the case with Nagelsmann that, like we said, that
Maybe we
he
just
might
get
want-
agreement
He
till the
might
end of
not
the
want to
season.
take. He might not want to take
Hmm.
on what's going on. He might just say, "Look, give me the summer. You know, I'm going to have a couple of weeks off here. We've got 10 games left of the Premier League. Let's go in the
I
summer."
mean,
you know?
there is a situation where you appoint him as a manager, you don't have him on the touchline, where he's just kind of observing what's happening over the next
Yeah.
10 games until he actually
Or
starts
like
to.
invite him into the Chelsea games that I'll watch.
Yeah,
for
when
a
I- when I-
second.
Exactly.
When I look at Nagelsmann now, I understand that he's just come out of a job, right? But he was surprised by the sacking. He didn't expect that to happen. So I don't look at it like someone who was doing badly at Bayern Munich and now is like, oh, I need a little break. I think he would have been ready to go like straight after, the day after. If we sacked Potter and Bayern Munich sacked him, I think he'll be up for coming literally the following day because he did not expect that. This is a manager that's got a lot to give right now, and he knows that this project right now is quite appealing. And on top of that, his boys is quite close with Vivell. So I just don't see him. I don't see him looking at it now and thinking, "Oh, let me come in the summer," because we need to start preparing for next season. We need to start preparing now.
Yeah.
Now.
Have you seen, I've seen something earlier as well on the socials. So imagine this. So we've just sacked an English manager, yeah? The last time we sacked an English manager in Lampard, yeah, we played Wolves the next game, which was Tuchel's first game, yeah? What happened that season? We won the Champions League. So obviously,
Yeah, but
if
we
history
play
can
Liverpool
repeat
next.
itself, if we
We
get
play
Hillary-
Liverpool next, though.
We don't play Wolves next.
No. But what I'm trying to say is we're not going to get a manager in tomorrow, and it's probably going to be Wednesday, Thursday. So his first game will probably be against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, I don't think. Okay, with that one, yeah, I don't think he'll be here in time for Liverpool. I think they have to make it look like they're trying to, you know,
Yeah.
as much as they think they're going to get
Yeah.
him, they have to make it look like, okay, we're taking our time a little bit, but knowing that
Yeah.
they're going to get him regardless, more of a formality, right? But yeah, I don't think he'll be here for Tuesday. I think he'll be ready after that. I don't see him. I don't see him saying, "I'll come in the summer." It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm just laughing at Matty's comments here, man.
Matty got to chill.
He's on one.
Matt is on one. He's on one. To be fair though, I spoke to him yesterday. We were messaging each other, and he was like, "Look, Don, they're not going to sack him." I said, "Mate, they're going to sack him." I was there today with Jem, and it was bad. It was bad. You know, when you just get that feeling that something has to happen now. Like it's beyond. It's beyond. I was speechless. I don't know if you guys have seen my fan come after the game. I literally had no words.
I didn't even go to the game. Even before the game, I knew that that was it before the game. When I looked at that starting lineup, we've got 4 wing backs here playing across that back 4. What kind? Who does that?
When we saw that, Kev, yeah,
Fam, you're approaching it with intelligence. You can't do that.
When we saw the lineup, right, the first thing that Jem was saying was, "Oh, he's gone to 4 at the back," because we saw Loftus-Cheek and what's his name, Reece James. So he was like, "Oh, he must have gone to 4 at the back." Then we've checked the Sky Sports app and we're seeing Ruben at the back. So then we worked it out. It's actually Reece James at the back, Ruben right wing back. I was like, "What is going on here?"
So basically,
What is
you've got
going
the
on
best,
here?
you've got the best right wing back in the world playing right centre back, and you've got a centre midfielder of ball carrying Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing right wing back.
Play right wing back.
He fucking does that. And then he brings on Kante right wing. Like what the fuck? Like what?
It made no sense.
It's worse than putting Tammy in midfield.
Don't forget the Gallagher son. Don't forget the constant Gallagher son.
We also brought Gallagher on to play left wing and make crosses and dribble past.
Never forget the Gallagher son.
And then on top of that, he leaves Koulibaly on the pitch, who was an absolute numpty most of the game as well with Kukurea.
The wickedest thing is, I seen it. I was watching the game here, and you got Pulisic and Mount warming up for 20 to 25 minutes, and then he brings on Kante and leaves Mount on the bench. When we need that creativity, we needed someone on the wing to get them crosses in, and he brings on Kante. Totally, is game management. I've never seen nothing like he is basically got
what he's been doing. What he's been doing with his in-game management, is like if you work in a warehouse full of machinery,
criminal.
The perfect way to put it with Potter is it's gross misconduct. Yeah, that's why he had to lose his job. He's done it numerous times because if you work in a warehouse full of machinery and you leave the machine working whilst no one's there and it injures someone, you're gonna get sacked. you're gonna get sacked. What Potter's done is sackable because he's making basic mistakes game after game.
And
game.
you know what?
You're right.
He
You know,
questions my
Gross
questions
misconduct.
my
Yeah, yeah.
intelligence. Like he questions all of our intelligences. Because like you look at the lineup, and you're like, but this
What the
doesn't make
fuck?
any sense. But this guy's
Yeah.
managing Chelsea, so he must know
Bro,
best, right? Like
you
obviously,
don't need the
Hey,
there's gotta
coaching
be something.
can I
There's
qualifications.
gotta be.
can I
You know what I mean?
repeat one of my
I
favorite
just
quotes?
feel like there's got to be something else going on here, like that I'm not seeing. I'm a novice in the game, so this guy's gone through his coaching badges and he's playing two wing backs at center back. You know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
get me
it's-
started. Ask Don.
I
Ask
couldn't
Don what I
figure
was
it out,
saying at the
man.
game.
Hey.
At the game, tactically, I was sitting there with Don at the bridge, staring at it, going, "What the what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? What is the
What's
setup?"
happening?
I was trying to understand it, like trying to see if
Hey,
there's any
Jem.
behind it. And you know what? You know it's really bad when N'Golo Kante comes on the pitch, right? And he's the furthest player at the pitch to the point where he gets the ball in the box and he's 1-on-1 with the goalie and he hits it past the post. That's how bad tactically. You know,
And do you know what made me mad as well? Like Enzo's been getting good positions to actually create stuff like in the
I know.
midfield. What does he do? He says to Enzo, "Yeah, you're the one that's gonna stay furthest back this game, and just go out there and try and create from the back against John McGinn. What's his name? Kamara. You know, the good technical midfielders, Bendia. It was madness to me, man. It was absolute madness. Still sabotage as well.
On top of that, every
Hey.
time the ball landed outside the box to where you want Enzo to be, his instructions was to make sure that Kovacic was at the edge of the box to make sure he fired shots at my head, which is what he was doing. He was firing shots at my head.
Cover shots are bad. Even worse
Don't-
in person.
The thing
Don't
is,
forget it.
you know what it is. I just don't think the players before you got like I do a bit of managing. I'm a bit of a coach. I don't think the players knew what their job was. I think it's just basically you go out and you do what you need to do because you got fucking Kovacic shooting from anywhere. We know Kovacic he scored one goal outside the box since he's been here. You know, he got fucking
So
Ben
bad.
Chilwell.
Yeah, you know
shooting
the
from
funny
anywhere.
thing is,
Bad.
Jem will tell you.
Desperate,
I say this all the time. Players will always react to their instincts on the pitch. They rely on their instincts on the pitch. If you put a wing back at center back, he's going to play the game in the split seconds that you need him to make a decisive decision, like a wing back. So that decision for Cucurella to come across and try to win the ball, that's exactly what a wing back would do. Be aggressive and trying to win everything, knowing that he has cover in behind him. But as a center back, you have to fall back, fall off, and allow the play to develop a little bit more before you try to make it an aggressive a challenge like that. So again, all of these decisions that we're talking right now is up down to management. Like, how do you not see these little small nuances in the game? And you're a top level coach for one of the biggest clubs in Europe. You know what I mean?
Gross misconduct. Gross misconduct. I told you.
Dennis Zakaria.
Wait,
Guys,
and then it's the
two
audacity.
Seconds, two seconds. So Dennis Zakaria and Aubameyang have both liked a post on Instagram of Potter getting sacked.
Of course, because they're not playing. What do you expect? They're out of the squad.
I don't blame them.
Well done. I don't blame them.
Because I'm saying
that's the only thing I like about Potter, the fact that he actually made an actual decision about the playing staff and said, this is too big a playing staff. I have to trim it down for the last 10 games in the Champions League. That's the only decision that he's made. That's whether or not you agree with like the players that he selected is one thing, but he made a decision to cut down the playing staff so he can work with who he wants to work with. That's the only thing I can back. You know?
And you know what? I was watching a stream earlier, and Matisse. I don't know if you guys know who Matisse is, right? He made a good point. He was speaking about the squad, how big it's going to be when it comes to preseason, because we don't know how quickly we're going to get rid of the dead wood, right, that we've got in our squad at the moment. So he actually said it will technically be harder for someone to come in the summer than it would to actually come in now, because as big as our squad is now, we're going to have players like Hudson-Odoi coming back, Lukaku coming back, you know, Broja coming back from injury. The squad's going to be a lot bigger until we start getting rid of people. So we need someone to come in now to actually get involved with the project, forget about this season, try and get top 6, hopefully. But we need to start working on next season. We need to start building for next season. So that's how I feel.
One of the most infuriating things that Potter said, I think a week before the Dortmund game, was when he came into that presser and he said, "Hi guys, just came out of a crisis meeting." Wow. I wonder if you're joking about a crisis meeting now, my guy. I wonder if you're joking about a crisis meeting now.
I think Potter, I think personally Potter didn't give a fuck I think he lost the dressing room a good 3 months ago, but because the board, that delusional, they stuck with him thinking shit was gonna work out. But I think Potter was just taking the piss.
Did he
Because it's
ever
not
have
just-
the board? I mean, the dressing room.
He didn't have
he
the
ever
full
have the
board,
dressing
but
Potter
it
was
was
taking
literally
the
just
piss
Bowley.
in
It was
I told you
literally
guys,
Bowley, bro.
I told you guys yesterday in the group. Yeah, this is what I said, Kev. I told these lot that Chelsea right now is a youth club. It's a youth club. That's all it is. And Potter is the youth manager that's managing it. And everyone's lovey-dovey, and do you know what I mean? There's no seriousness at the club right now with him there.
No, nothing. It's just the
Bro,
way he talks.
there was no
It's just the
seriousness
way he
since he
talks.
came in, man.
And then I
Listen.
think and then we got Aubameyang fucking in the Barcelona change rooms last week. Everything about the club right now.
Okay, can I ask
is
you something?
man.
Okay,
Stunk, bro.
let me ask you something. Southampton, was that a sackable offense?
Yes.
To you, was that?
Yes.
Okay, wait, one more time. Spurs, was that a sackable offense?
100%.
Okay, Everton, we can let go, right? Now, that Aston Villa game at home, is that a sackable offense?
100%.
Yes.
Okay, listen, I just want to be clear. He should have been gone time ago. He's been taking the piss time ago.
The guy had about 10 lines.
Seven wins in 7 months is beyond sackable.
I don't think the board wanted to actually. They held on so much to try and ride it, and I think what they said to him. I remember what game was it where we lost? Was it? I can't remember. It was at home. We lost to someone.
How can you forget how many losses?
I think it was
we had, man? There's been
Southampton.
plenty.
Southampton.
It was Southampton, right? Because I remember a tweet coming out saying that that the board were willing to back him. This was going into them 3 games. Do you remember? Providing that he can kind of win the support back of the fans. Like basically saying like we will give you another chance, but this has got to be your last. And I think that literally, he won the Dortmund game. Don't get me wrong, and everyone was a bit like, yeah, it was Champions League and whatever. We got a bit excited, but he just spiraled back down again. And once he got himself into that horrible mess of a loop again, where he just couldn't solve and work out how to get the best out of this team, and then the fans erupted, and Bowley and that was sitting up there, but we were there, Don. They were in that box right up there, Egg Valley as well. I think that was they looked at each other and gone, we can't.
Wait, real quick, Jason.
If we do not sack this guy, we can't keep giving this guy lives because they will come for us next if we don't do something here. You know what I mean? And that's what I think they've done. I think they've just reacted on the basis that the fans, the fans have forced him out. This is the fans that have actually forced this decision more than anything, And we've done the right thing. We've come here to protect our club, at the end of the day. So, look, AJ, what you saying, bro? Come on, let's see what you got to say. You've not said anything on this whole
Yes, sir.
thing. Let's go.
No, I mean, first of
Happy
all,
birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
On your birthday,
Happy
man.
birthday, young man.
Birthday right there, Oh my
appreciate
god.
it. Yo,
21, yeah?
a little older than 21, bro. I mean, after the game yesterday, like, what else was left, man? There was nothing else left. It had to happen. So I'm glad it happened. When a manager gets sacked, you get them little sad feelings, but it's just been so bad for especially the last 3 months. It's just been bad, man. So I'm happy that we finally get this good energy in again. Hopefully we get a good new manager. I'm going for Nagelsmann. Last week I told you guys, look, let's just get Nagelsmann in and go from there. I just want to see some goals, Even if we're winning games 5-4, 6-5, I just want to see some goals, man. I'm tired of this struggle ball that we playing, So that's really it, I'm just excited for what happens next. I hope it's a big decision for Bowley and them though. So it's not as simple as people think. I know.
Between me and you, AJ, and everyone here, I've got a meeting with Bowley tomorrow. Potentially.
You already took your badges? You took your badges already?
To potentially, like I told you guys in the group chat, to potentially jump in and interim.
It's April Fool's.
Oh man.
April Fool's.
Your talent ID.
I'll make us
man.
proud.
Don't worry about your talent ID still, bro.
It's April 2nd, Jem. Damn,
I haven't played every game.
I'll be the kit manager.
He'll get sold at the end of the season.
You gotta laugh, haven't you? Yeah, guys.
But yeah, man, that's it.
Big up, AJ. Big up. Also,
Big up,
again, I'm
man.
gonna say again, happy birthday, man. Happy
Appreciate
birthday.
it, yo.
Yeah, man.
We're going to continue tomorrow. We'll do another show tomorrow. We've got, haven't we, really? We've got to just keep going now. And obviously, we've got the Liverpool preview to do as well, which is Tuesday. We've got football on the pitch. We've got no manager. We've got Bruno taking over as interim. We got the potentials that Chelsea could appoint a manager tomorrow. Who knows? Just not put it past us because we know what we're like. I don't know. But there's going to be a lot happening in the space of this week, going into this week.
What is Bruno's resume? What is his CV? Genuinely.
Who's?
Our new interim coach. What is his CV?
Well, I've got
He's gonna be interim. He's gonna be a caretaker, man. Under the Champions League, man.
Yeah. So Bruno's gonna rock up to the set.
He was the cold man like 2 weeks ago, man.
Please tell me we'll have a manager before the Bernabeu. That's all I'm asking.
His CV is as long as mine. He hasn't got one. So, you know, why can't I have a chance? You know what I mean? Like, it makes more sense.
Listen, Kali, man, you gotta respect the hustle, man. From Corn man to the Bernabeu, man.
Guys, we will be back tomorrow. It's been a great show. We've had 700 people on the show today, all the way through. Big up to live viewers as well. Big up to every single one of you guys. Kev, thank you for coming through, mate. It's been good having you on and getting your thoughts in as well.
Big up,
Don,
big up.
Always, big up to you, Kelly, the team
Yep.
as well. Hassan,
Big
Cal,
up, Kev.
AJ, every single one of you guys. We will be sleeping tonight, not having to actually, what's the word? Worry about Chelsea right now because he's not the manager.
We'll let that loss go. That's how we'll put
we
it.
won't let
We'll
Graham
let that loss go.
haunt us anymore, man.
Yeah, we ain't got
We're free.
any more haunted nightmares of Graham.
No
Potter.
more jokes about crisis meetings. Crisis meetings are over.
All I can say, right, is Graham Potter has given everything, man. Jem, take it away.
One last thing. Who they bring in will determine if I travel to Wolves, right? So I might actually get that ticket off Fats.
What about no more games for the rest of the season? I watched that. Interview. There's no more games for the rest of the season.
After until Potter's gone, but he's gone now. So yeah, depending on who they bring in.
Smart man.
If it's Pochettino, you'll be up there in 5 minutes, mate. So I know that.
Oh yeah. Hey, no Poch.
I'm gonna be there.
The boys gave everything, and that's life.
We'll be back again. We'll be back again tomorrow as well with more news. Probably loads of news in the morning to catch up on as well. Normal time, probably in the afternoon around 1 o'clock as well. Smash the like before you leave. Leave a comment below and let us know who you want to be the new Chelsea manager as well. And yeah, peace out, guys. See you in a bit. Take care.
Peace.